Our guest today will help you sleep better. He is passionate about getting a really good night's sleep, and he's going to give us some great tips on how to do this. Janne Kyllonen is from Finland, hyvä huomenta, and he knows a lot about sleep because he needed it so much while he was traveling across multiple time zones when he was working all around the world. So one day he was traveling to Beijing, and after an exhausting flight, he was at the airport and he found a really interesting gadget, and it was called active noise canceling headphones. And he tried them on and he noticed silence all around him in the middle of a massively busy airport. And he came up with an idea that he could make them even better. So he came up with Quieton. And I'm really excited to talk about these noise canceling headphones. First of all, because no one on the biohacking circuit has really discovered them yet. So remember, you heard it here first. And second of all, because I now no longer have these micro awakenings when someone in my bed snores or a church bell rings at 2 a.m. There's just absolute silence. So I can't take credit for finding Quieton. It's my biohacking bestie, Magdalena of Magdalena's Secrets on Instagram, who posted about them. And she was telling me they were a miracle for her. And Magdalena has no vested interest, nothing to sell. So I totally believed her. And now I put them to the test. And to be honest, even though these buds are microscopic, I didn't like something in my ears. And I go back to Magdalena for some explanations. And she said, just give it a few days and adjust the size. So I had the size wrong. And she was right. It was perfect timing because I happened to be in a new place, in a new bed, in a new city that had a church bell ringing every hour on the hour, and a neighbor who I could hear going up and down the stairs in the middle of the night. So when I finally gave it another go, I had a really great night's sleep. And I just laughed when my husband complained of the church bell and the neighbor again. And I heard zero of that. I was really almost surprised. So enough raving about Quieton. I want to introduce Jana so we can talk about sleep in general and give you some tips and answer some questions about anything anyone puts inside their ears to find some silence. So welcome, Jana.
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be part of your podcast.
Hyvä huomenta. Did I say that right? Good morning.
Yes, hyvää huomenta.
In Finnish. Yeah, I gotta go see you up there in the north, freezing cold, it's snowing. So can you give us a little background about how you got so passionate about sleep and decided to build this business around it? I mean, was it really that impressive what you went through?
Yeah, so I have been always good sleeper, so that's why the sleep problem solving in the sleep area wasn't really the focus. But I used to working in Nokia and looking for user experiences. So more like 10 years thinking about that, how to make the people's life better and easier. And always when finding the new technology, started thinking that what could be the biggest benefit of this. And I like the story what you told about the testing the first time, the active noise cancelling in the airport. I was quite soon started to thinking that if the silence could become for the sleeping use case, it would be the best product of the world, and that is where the idea came from.
That's a great. I think it was a great idea because sleep is so important. Anybody who's following me knows how passionate I am about sleep. And can you tell us, why do you think sleep is so important?
Yeah. So. By the way, have you read the Matthew Walker's book, this Why Do We Sleep?
Yes, it's the Bible for all sleep experts. I'm listening to it now, actually. Yes, he's a brilliant. He's brilliant. Anybody who's interested in sleep, or unless you're maybe an insomniac, sometimes I worry about insomniacs reading stuff like that because it could be kind of scary.
Yeah, so if it goes like too stressful, I think that book wraps it up quite well. That I think that the main thing that if you are not sleeping well, you are like a continuous stress. And the continuous stress causes this kind of inflammatory stage in your body, and from there it comes from these severe health issues like even the cardiovascular diseases and Alzheimer's and even the cancers and all the terrible things coming from there. But also in the upside there, that when you are sleeping well, that you are in better mood and your mental health is so much better, and also your performance, like your problem solving skills and memory and even the capability of innovating and being creative is going sky high. So sleep is important. We should really put effort on that.
Sleep is a basic function, right? And if it didn't have an important need in our lives, then it would probably be the biggest evolutionary mistake of the whole, human race. So I really believe we don't need even science to tell us how we perform poorer when we don't get a good night's sleep, right? We can't think clearly. We don't make good decisions. We don't look good, right? They don't call it beauty sleep for nothing. And for me, sleep is the magic bullet for so many things: hormone regulation. It's time to repair, rejuvenate. And I just did a paper for my master's of gerontology on insomnia, menopause, and dementia. So there's some very interesting correlations between sleep deprivation, sleep disturbances, insomnia, and cognitive decline. So this is really concerning, and I wanted to investigate a little bit more, because in menopause, women are not getting good sleep, right? And this is have to do with the loss of our hormones, and particularly when women take progesterone, that quite helps a lot with their sleep as well, and it's quite recommended to take that in the evening. But when you get a good night's sleep, just the whole world is so different. And I really, again, we don't need the science to prove this. We just know it. And we have all these sleep tracking devices that are popping up, the Oura Ring and the BioStrap, and these things tell us they're tracking our sleep. Why are we tracking our sleep? Because it's pretty important, and we want to get a good night's sleep. And so what I love is that you have nailed down, okay, one of the ways to get good sleep, and this is why it's a brilliant product I think people should look into. But before we go into that, I want to ask you, do you know about noise pollution? Right?
Yeah, I've been reading a little bit of that, like World Health Organization make this kind of really broad study, like daytime noise pollution, and there's some reflection also for the nighttime. And I think that this continuous noise is also continuous stress, and the same thing what I just said about that, having the lack of sleep. The problems are similar. Of course, it's also that it's really exhausting. If you continuously listen to something, your brains are processing that. And especially when the noise is something that you don't want to hear, which is like, this kind of, if you are in the exhibition or in the big city and middle of the traffic, and that comes that couple of hours there and you are really exhausted. Think about having that kind of work environment, for example, all day long. So that's the one thing. But then if you're talking about the noise and the sleep, then there's like three aspects. The first is that it's difficult to get the sleep if there is noise. Second one is that when you are interrupting your sleep, you wake up in the middle of night, and that is difficult. And the third one is something that it has been some research, for example, with the noise masking devices, that when you are listening to something, even though you're able to get the sleep, the quality of the sleep is not that good. You are not having the deep sleep and those important sleep stages. So you can go and looking for Oura tracker or something that, okay, there was 8 hours of sleep, but still you are exhausted when you wake up, and you see that there was not like good quality of that sleep.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's not the amount of time, it is important, but it's the actual quality of sleep. And I can imagine if you're doing these the white noise machines, that may help you sleep and maybe get even better sleep than you did before. But I can see the brain is still sort of functioning and processing this noise. But in terms of noise pollution, I was really surprised in another course that I took in my gerontology master's, is that it's called the brain mind body connection. And it showed, and it really, we had a whole hour talking about noise pollution and how this increases stress in people, and how that, well, then of course then the connection is to increase the inflammation and the cortisol, and then get all the any disease you want to just pull it out of a hat. And so you really, it was surprising how impactful noise pollution is on your health. And I just really didn't even think about it. So I am a big advocate for protecting your ears as well. So I'm also kind of wondering how the Quieton, I mean, because I'm thinking more about sleep and getting a good night's sleep. That's just, you know, what I used it for myself. But in fact, perhaps could you use these to, if you're working on a construction site or in areas where there is high, or maybe you're working in the airport and you're hearing the airplanes all the time, because I can't remember the amount of decibels, but you start doing damage to the ears, even when it's just, I mean, rock concerts absolutely damage the eardrums and everything. We have to be so careful. But maybe you'd wear these in a concert. Where do you see people using the Quieton?
Yeah, we actually, like our previous generation product has even the hearing protection certificate. So they are official hearing protection devices used for that. Like hearing damage comes from 85 decibels around 1 hour in that level, and you are already having damage. But also this, even the lower decibel levels, like at 75, 70 decibels, could be harmful. Like we have been selling those, our first generation product, for dental clinics. And that's interesting place, because officially they don't need to use the hearing protection because it's just below the 80 decibels level there. But still there are research which shows that 40% of the dentists, when they retire, they have the hearing loss. 40%. So which is huge number, and clearly indicates that when you have 20 years in that kind of environment, you will lose your hearing. And they don't have proper solution. That's why we're bringing our first generation product there.
Interesting, because when you put it, when I sleep with them, it's not 100% blocking out the noise. I mean, I hear some things, like I know my alarm will go off and I'll hear it, but I you know, I'm just kind of wondering then, because that's probably a really good thing. If you were a dentist or you're wearing these things in your ears, you still kind of need to hear the patient. So I don't really actually see how, because I don't know about talking. I don't know, when my husband talks to me, I don't quite hear all the time. We're just put him in, I'm about to fall asleep, and then I was like, did you say something? Because I can hear a muffling, but I'm not. So how would a dentist use this in terms of?
So our first generation device was having a different kind of noise response. It was the speech area was only reduced like 10 to 15 decibels. And then it was like a high noise reduction in super low and higher frequencies. But this third generation product, what you have, it's optimized for snoring sounds. So that's why the speech area is cancelled also quite efficient, like 30 decibels out of that. But like I said, our device is not making total silence. Nothing does that. And actually, it would be even scarier if it would be like doing it more. And I have been. It's difficult to understand what are the decibels and how much it affects. But I think that if you have the people which is snoring quite heavily next to you, some parts of that will come through. You will sort of understand. Okay, now the person is snoring next to you, but the volume level is so low that you are able to sleep and being relaxed next to that. And then it's not heavy snoring, then it might be that you don't hear it at all.
Okay, so the dentists would use a different generation, so it doesn't.
Yes, that's true. Our first generation product for that.
But I kind of think, well, that was a stupid question I asked, because if you're in a dentist's office, the person's not really talking. They just got their mouth open. I mean, maybe you'd hear them scream, or maybe that's important for a dentist. I don't know, I'm not a dentist. So yeah, I guess you wouldn't have to hear them talk a whole lot, and you guess you could take it out of your ear if you need. I'm just trying to think of really practical reasons. I know dentists actually who could probably benefit for this, and now I'm worried about them. And what about somebody, I guess if you have a baby, you probably want to hear the baby. So unless you have a partner in the bed, and then you can maybe switch. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that has been the normally that people are able to switch turns, that who is doing the nursing and who is taking sleep. But also it's the same thing with the alarm clock, that if there really like a crisis and the baby is screaming next to you, you will hear that through and most likely wake up on that.
Yeah.
But it actually is really important segment for us, that those families with the newborns especially.
Yeah, that's a challenge, definitely. I mean, I think the days that, if I I ever could be without the baby around, I'd fall asleep in 2 seconds. I don't think anything would wake me up, but when the baby's there, you're on high alert. So yeah, very interesting. So actually, so let's talk about the people, what is stopping them from getting good sleep? And let's focus on older women, because obviously if you have younger and your babies, you're not getting good sleep. But you're young. So what about older women? What do you think is stopping them from getting a good night's sleep?
Yeah, I need to of course say the disclaimer that I'm not an expert in that sense, but from customer care and what kind of communication we have got, and also the feedback that, thank you for saving our marriage type of messages, and the biggest thing of course is the husband snoring, and how to fix that, how to be able to sleep in the same room. And so I think that's the number one. Perhaps 60-70% of our customer base is struggling with that thing. But then overall, the sleep issues that stress, people who are working and having the mobile phones and even computers in their bedrooms and working late and thinking that, I think that is the root cause of the many sleep issues.
Yeah, so you're right. So Quieton's not getting to the root cause, it's there to support, but that's definitely, I can see you could probably be saving a lot of people from bed divorces or bedroom divorces, where, they love each other, they don't want to get a divorce, but they simply cannot sleep together. And that's why we always see some older couples. As I grew up, I was like, yeah, wow, people don't sleep together anymore after the age of I don't know what. And I think this is actually really life-saving in that sense. And because if you do like the comfort, or you want to sleep with your partner nearby and you like that, but you just can't take the noise, this is a really great solution. So I see my husband's not like a huge snorer. I can't complain too much, but he does, and if those days that I am for some reason more sensitive, it will disrupt the sleep. And then the root cause of a lot of problems, like you said, I think is the stress, maybe hormone fluctuations with women as well, many going through menopause, hot flashes. So many things can disrupt someone's sleep. Noise is there on top of it, but really, I think people need to focus on how to get better sleep. Quietons, they're great, can help you with that, but it's not going to be a miracle in the sense if you're super stressed at work, you still may wake up for some reason and your mind will take over. So I really want people there's so many great ways to get good sleep hygiene, and that's the focus. And I really tell people to try to get their sunlight in the morning. Get that. I don't know what you do in Finland, because it's dark all the time all winter, right?
Yes, actually, like now close to Christmas time, we have something like 5 hours of daylight in our region.
Wow.
And then in the summer we have the midnight sun, so sun doesn't go down. So that is also
So
the.
what do you do? Because I have an interview with Dr. Sachin Panda, and he's all about circadian rhythm. And I know he's going to say, go and get your sunlight in the morning, and that will help set your circadian rhythm so that you produce melatonin at the right time in the evening. So what do you do in Finland in terms of the circadian rhythm? How do you get that morning light, or how does it disrupt your
Yeah.
sleep?
Yeah, we need to have the bright light in the home and the offices and all of that, but it's still the artificial light what we are using. And of course, in the summertime, we need to have really good curtains and try to get the darkness in the bedrooms. But still, I must admit that this kind of couple of months, like November, December, that you can realize that your mood is a little bit down and you are not that energized. And when the spring comes and the sunlight starts to be hitting in, that we have still snow and a lot of sunlight together, that combination makes people so much energized and happier and all that. It affects for sure.
Interesting. So do you notice yourself getting sleepy at like 4 p.m. when the sun goes down, or what time does it go down? Maybe it's 3.
Yeah,
You're
perhaps
pretty north.
yeah, it might be that it's a little other way around, that when we have used to that, the sunlight is not, the rhythm is not much dependent on sunlight. It comes perhaps like when we are eating and how we have slept and all of that. So it may be that we are built a bit different or used to cope with this change.
Yeah, we probably, yeah, the food is also a big trigger for sleep, right? If you're, it'll wake you up, right? If you eat, and you're probably getting that rhythm that's supporting the circadian rhythm. But I'm so curious. I mean, just a different life up there, and where you have so little light, or too crazy a lot of light and very little darkness in the summertime. So it's interesting how that affects. I bet a lot of do a lot of sleep studies come out of Finland, or people research this a lot and come up with gadgets and things to get better sleep?
Yeah, I think that there are quite a lot of sleep studies, and we are a little bit rare species in that sense. But for example, when you mentioned the Oura ring, the Oura is also coming from Oulu. I know the guys who were founding the company, so that's one
Oh,
indicator
yeah.
of that.
So there's sleep, yeah, sleep, yeah. Interesting. Sleep is a very important thing, and you guys are very unique in that sense that you can. It's like a seasonal experiment every season. So you see what happens when the sun is gone and when it comes. And so okay, so interesting. So one thing that was interesting when I did my research paper in terms of sleep and disease was, the question was, does poor sleep or sleep disruption, is this a sign of a disease or a symptom of a disease that you already have? Or does the poor sleep and sleep disruption cause the disease? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, if you stop and think on that, if you have pain, if you have stomach ache or something like a digestion problem or something, of course it's wakes you up in the middle of the night. If you need to go to toilet or something like that, that of course. Anything which affects your body temperature or something affects your sleep and all those stress related things. Yes, for sure. There's thinking back on that sense that it could indicate the or be the symptom for the disease.
Well, it's very bi-directional in the end, right? So
Yes.
that's the thing, is they do influence one or the other, and it can be, I think, from both. So it is really important to get proper sleep. And the only thing is that the caveat is, when I talk to insomniacs, it's difficult for them to process, because that adds even more stress to them. And I feel my heart goes out to them, to if they're listening to any of this kind of stuff or reading books like Matthew Walker's book. It's just very disturbing, because there is such a huge correlation. And so with the caveat, I think insomniacs have to take a different approach to reduce the stress, and because that could just perpetuate the problem as well. So what are your tips? What would you do to get a really good night's sleep at home? And then what would you do when you're traveling?
Yeah, I think that you need to get the basics right. This sleep hygiene itself, that first of all you have good ergonomy, pillow and all of that, not causing any pains, and you can really relax on that darkness, like like you mentioned. Room temperature is a really important thing, part of that, and then the silence, that you don't have the noises interrupting you. Then the sleep rhythm, always going sleeping in the same time, and this how when you eat, and you not eat too heavily, and not having the heavy exercise too close to sleeping time. Like for me, it's like 2 hours at least, that what I need to be, going down for that. Um, Personally, I'm also using, because in Finland we have sauna in every household,
Mm,
so
yeah.
I'm using it every night, and I'm going to sauna like perhaps at 9 o'clock or something, and there your body temperature is going like high, and after that when you go bedroom, start reading a book or something, and almost without clothes, your body temperature goes down and actually a little bit like overcompensates on that. So it goes down lower than your normal level. And when that happens, you will get really sleepy. Then putting the Quietons in my ear and immediately get the sleep. That is what I do like all the time. Actually, it happens so fast that like Overring gives the value that it was too fast going to sleep, so it gives the negative value.
I
It's
get that
always
all the
1
time
minute
too.
or 2 minutes to go to sleep. But then when talking about the traveling, then almost nothing of these tricks and are not available. Like your sleep rhythm and all of that is ruined. You are stressed because you have been traveling, and you know it's always a lot of things in your own mind. Go to hotel room because it's a little bit strange, um, and it. I have heard this kind of term like first night syndrome. When you are in a strange place, you are sort of scared, and it's some of the natural instincts that you are not getting the deep sleep. Even the slightest sound around you will wake you up, like taking a shower in the next room in the hotel or something like that. So that is also that when the Quietons makes the big role, because when I put those on, the sound environment it's the same than in home, and it's perhaps learned behavior that that sound environment feels like that I'm bringing part of home or the some safe place to the hotel, and it works really well. And of course, it cancels the noises from the next door, so that's good.
Yeah. I have to say those are I'm a nomad normally. But pre-COVID, I was in a new country every 1 to 4 weeks, depending on the visa. And so I slept in a lot of places and a lot of different noises. I only wish I had it then. I only had the just normal foam things, which was better than nothing. But this is going to be a great addition once we start traveling more and more. But when it comes to sleep hygiene, I'm there with you. I have to say, lately, because it's colder now here in Spain, I've been taking hot baths, and you're absolutely right. It's the same sauna effect. Like really great sleep with that. Like, and it's all because of the temperature changes. Cold room, especially menopausal women who get hot flashes. Your husband's probably hate you. Mine does. He can't stand. He's freezing. Just say get closer to me. But he's definitely, I think, keeping the room cool is really great. I think another great invention I haven't tried yet, but a lot of people talk about, are the chili pad. Have you heard of that one?
What chili?
Chili pad. It
Okay.
evidently makes your side of the bed cool. So if you are hot blooded and your partner isn't, then it's a great, it's got some really great reviews. The only problem with me is it needs to fit in my suitcase. So I still travel, and I'm a semi-nomad person. I don't have a home yet. So I can't have a big device, but there's a chili pillow that I'm interested in, but people swear by this as well. So I think if you get your chili pad, your Quietons, you get your bath, you get a routine. I honestly believe adults are just like babies. We like routine. Our brain likes it. We know what's coming. We take, after your dinner, you can go for a nice little walk, and then you can go have your hot tea at home, and then you read your book, and then you take your bath. And, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Your brain is feeling safe. It knows what to expect. And I always tell people to make your bedroom like a spa. Like, think about the last time you got a massage, if you were in a hotel or holiday, right? You
Yeah.
feel the room is warm or quiet, and you've got the lights are dim. There's no bright lights. There's some nice, music or birds chirping or something there, and you have the smells as well. I would recommend lavender. When you make your bedroom a spa, if you've ever had a massage in an environment like that, your brain remembers it, and it remembers that you probably fell asleep during that massage and you
Yeah.
probably felt really relaxed. So I'm big advocate of making your room like a spa. And again, so many people say it's true, put down the phones, the computers, the emails, if you can, an hour before you go to bed. That blue light is so disruptive. And if you really, really must, make sure you put on your blue blocking glasses. And that's really, that helps a lot of people. So the Quieton is the cherry on the cake where you slip
Yeah.
those in right before you go to bed, because you set yourself up. Like, imagine you're just, you set yourself up for this wonderful sleep, but then somebody starts snoring, right? Even the dog. I used to have a dog. It was snoring all the time in his older age. And it's like,
Yeah, I have also the large dog, like a 50-kilo Bernese Mountain dog.
oh,
I know
yeah.
that. I know the drill. But
Yep.
but also like first I'm using Pythons all every night, and even though my wife is not snoring that much, little bit some noises here and there, and the dog doing something, but it also works for even the small noises, like noise of the blanket and all of that. When you can dim those out, and also this behavioral thing that when I'm listening, talking, and when I decided to go put them in, my brain sort of knows that, okay, now it's time to go to sleep. It's sort of switch button for sleep behavior
Ah,
also.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, that I could see. Your brain gets used to that, because it is that, it's silence. Like, it just really, you don't, it's like you're in a bubble. Like you said, that it was like you're in a bubble and you almost can hear yourself breathing. And I also do breath work before, when I'm laying down. I'm a breath work teacher, so I'm, practice what I've learned. and
Yeah.
and I can, it really helps me focus on the breath, and it quiets the mind. And I do, when I do slip those in, I do feel my breath. You're just at one with yourself and with your breath. And I really think that, I'm wondering though, if there's some people it would be too quiet for. There's some people who kind of like noise, and they don't like the full on silence.
Yeah, it might be that you need to be getting used on that, because I think that what, like you said, you sort of decide not to communicate outside anymore. You are not even interested to try to listen anything, and you're more like listening yourself in sort of meditative stage to go to sleep. But those we made some research in the dental clinic that dental patients, that do they want to use Quieton, would they benefit for the device, and there was like quite significant percent of the people which said that they don't want to put anything in their ear, because in the dental clinic they already like lost their control. They want to even hear that what is happening, or something like that. But then the other part, maybe 60% would say that they would like to test the device. Then almost all of them were saying that it was really good, because it was less scary, even less painful, all of that. It somehow felt that even the treatment was then done for somebody else, that there was some outsider for the situation. So
Yeah, that's a very interesting, because when you did say dentist first, that my first thought was the patient was wearing them, because of the drill could be very
yes,
stressful.
so that was for the patients, but also the dentists were using. So we were like additional research that how the patients would take it, and
Yeah.
it was interesting, and also the less pain was interesting, because if you can hear the drill out of this source of pain, and if the noise disappears, then you are less scared and not shaky, and
Hmm.
waiting the pain to come, and then it doesn't come because you are not sort of pushing it.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Actually, there's enough research out there showing that music helps relax people in dental situations. People who have had surgeries, they recover quicker with music, and what the right type of music, not any kind of music,
Yeah.
it's be relaxing music. But that would make sense, that why not the Quieton as well, because that's canceling out that drilling noise. And actually, I get people asking me very often too, is there Bluetooth in Quieton? Is there music? Because you see earbuds and people think that you're putting something in there with noise. Would tell us
Yeah,
about.
so we don't have it, and that was like a big decision at the beginning when we established the company. Actually, we started in the time that Bluetooth headset didn't exist, or this kind of earbuds in that time. So we would have been the first in that market. But if you have the Bluetooth, it means that there's much more processing, which consumes more energy, and that's why you need to have the bigger battery. So the whole device would be much bigger, and less comfortable for sleeping. Actually, you couldn't sleep at all with that kind of device. So that's why we were thinking about that the sleep is the most important thing and no compromises, focusing everything for the sleep use case. And it ended up to be a really pretty good decision to focus on that. And also many people are saying that it's great that there is no Bluetooth or any kind of radio, because it means no radiation and this kind of electromagnetic field inside your head while you are sleeping, all that. Mm-hmm. Although I'm physicist and I think that it's not the real risk to have the Bluetooth device in your ear, but many people are taking it seriously and they just want to get rid of all the radiation close to their bodies, and I respect on that.
Oh, interesting. So you are a physicist. I didn't know this, and you think that there is not that big of a danger with Bluetooth in your ear from
yes. So in energy point of view and how the energy is emitting your cells, that there is no real evidence that it would cause damage.
But wouldn't there be a compounding effect? I mean, maybe not from little earbuds, but maybe from your watch and then your phone and then the Wi-Fi and there's just everything around you. Would that not eventually have a negative effect?
I haven't seen the real strong evidence on that. There are some like plausible comments, and when you have really like efficient mobile phones with a really high performance and having it long all day long in the full power, but still I'm just not seeing it as risk.
Yeah. Now interesting. No, it's interesting your take on that. So then, okay, there is no Bluetooth in Quieton. There is no music playing in your ears. Tell us a little bit about the technology. How is it working then?
Okay, yeah. So perhaps I'll start from the basics, that what is the active noise cancelling itself. That the noise is sound waves going through the air, and like from physics class in elementary school, that if you have wave and opposite wave, they are killing each other, and that is what we do for the sound. So there is a small microphone which listens to noise, then it goes to the electronics which generates the opposite sound waves to original noise, and there's a small speaker which plays it exactly in the right time, exactly in the right volume, and we are generating this wave and opposite wave, sort of anti-noise sound, and that reduces noise really efficient. And for that, of course, we need to have electronics and batteries and things there. But we have been hiding that you don't need to think about the technology. There's no button or anything. You just take it out from the case. It automatically switches on and just putting in the ear like you would do with the phone earplugs.
Yeah, exactly. Where I have it here. Look, I know you guys who are here watching the video. It's a really luxurious little box. And I saw, there's lights. So, oh, well, there's lights, there's electricity, right? Then, kind of maybe confusing for some people, but I like how it's just a really sleek design. It fits totally in the whole, gadget world that's been coming out. I have to say, it's like, I like the lumen and the Oura ring, and it's just beautiful designs, and you definitely got it. And if anybody's here watching the video, you can see literally how teeny tiny these are. Very, very small earbuds. I don't have the Apple ones, the earbuds that people have, but so I don't know how they compare in size to what would they in terms of the normal?
I think that the AirPods are like a 3 times bigger.
Really, they're three times bigger. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is 3 times smaller. There we go.
Yeah, but I have also it here. So I'm showing that in the video that when it's here in the ear, it's really so deep in that it doesn't hit in the pillow at all. That's why it's so comfortable.
Yeah, let's turn your head a little bit for people who are watching the video. You can see how big it is inside Jana's ear. Yeah, it's teeny tiny, way smaller than the Apple. What are they called? Apple? I don't even know what they are. Apple earbuds.
The AirPods Pro.
AirPods, AirPods. Yeah. So yeah, it's really, really small. And I'm wondering, is it safe to use them every single day? Does it do any kind of rubbing against the ears, the skin, or touch the inner parts of the ear that could be dangerous?
Yeah, if it doesn't fit in the anatomy, if we're stretching your ear, if you happens to have really small ears, of course, then it might be something that our ear adjusts on that. But the part inside the ear, like the foam air plug, people have used to use those normally, the just basic foam air plugs. And I don't know that if you would have some kind of ear infection or something, perhaps then it's better to let it breathe and it's not good to then block it out. But if there's no issues and you keep your ears clean and keep the plugs clean and all of that, I don't see any problems to use it all every night. I have been using it every night and you know the years already.
Okay, is there any difference, and this is more of a male question, when you get older and you get a lot of hair in your ear, does that and make any difference to how they function?
Actually, it does, because in our device, it is crucial that it's airtightly in the ear, because I go back to the physics that the microphone is outside and the speaker is inside, and we make sort of transformation for the audio in. So if it's loosely in your ear, that the active noise cancelling is not matching well. So that's why it always needs to be airtightly and in the same way airtight. And if you have a lot of hair there, it might be that air goes through and it's not like airtight. I'm old enough that I need to cut my hairs in the ears to get it working perfect.
So that's the workaround. So if you have a lot of ear hair, you got to cut it for these to work. Otherwise, you don't get it.
Yes, and also it's more comfortable because if those hairs are bended or you're sort of pulling those, it might be that causes pain there. So.
Interesting. So what's the difference then between noise canceling technology and just little foamy things in that you put in your ear in the airplane?
Yeah. The big thing is that those low bandwidth noise, which is like a long sound waves, those goes through the walls, goes through everything. And if you have the foam air plug, that will go through. So as an example, if you are in the airplane and listen to cabin noise, and putting the foam earplugs in and out, it's almost no difference, like perhaps 5 decibels reduction or maximum 10. But if you put the active noise cancelling device there, it's just faintly humming after that. It's almost like disappearing. And the same thing then is for the snoring sound. Snoring is also like 200 hertz or less where the peak is. And noises coming through the walls like traffic noise outside or the party next door or those are also really low bandwidth noise, because the noise the wall itself is reflecting the high frequencies back, but the low frequencies will come through. And the church bell might be also something that if it comes through the wall, that's something that active noise cancelling takes really efficient.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, this is definitely, I cannot wait to try these on the plane, really, because I can't live without earplugs on the plane. And this is going to make me even more even have a better sleep on the plane. So then what about other noise canceling like devices? So the difference between the one that you found in Beijing and originally, is it just size, or what other technologies out there that people can compare Quieton to?
Yeah, I think that the active noise cancelling has effect how you feel it. It's really the similar thing or the same. There are like 2 ways to it, like analog electronics or digital way, and feed forward feedback of the combination, some technical terms there. But practically the difference is that we are just much smaller and our battery lasts 28 hours, and you can use it all night long, and it's the only device which fits to your ear that you can sleep head on pillow. And actually we have a patent for that. So the others can't even make that kind of devices that it would fit for the sleeping purposes.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So you've done this, you start your first version came out like 2016, more or less?
Yes, that's when we established this.
And you've made a couple of versions since, right?
Yes, this is the 3rd generation. And this came out during this summer. And I would say that last 3 months we have been delivering these like first 10, 12,000 sent for now.
Excellent. What I love that you don't have a subscription that goes with it. All of these other devices got subscriptions that we have to start paying every month, but not with the Quieton. Is there another? Is there going to be a fourth generation, or what, or other products that you're going to come out with?
Yes, of course, we are all the time learning and thinking about the next generation things, that how to make it even smaller and softer and more comfortable and having better performance and those things. And our focus is going to be in the sleep segment, that we are going to be the synonym for the sleep earbuds in the future. That's our mission. That's why we are all the time developing the better product. But I would say that this third generation product is already quite good market fit, or even talking about the jackpot, because Tech Radar and Women's Health and many other reviews have been stating quite clear that we are the best sleep device in the market, and it's doing excellent job. And of course, the customer feedback.
Yeah, no, this is wonderful. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about the research that you've done. You said you did the studies with the dentists. Have you done any research or clinical studies with other populations, or maybe against other devices?
Yeah, so actually, not like a sleep research in that sense, that we would be in the sleep lab and measuring that, but we have been, of course, measuring the noise cancelling performance and in the laboratories and comparing to other devices, and we know that we are in the best in class in the noise cancelling itself. In the other hand, there are a lot of research that how the noise affects the sleep. So we know that the silent environment is really important for the sleep and the sleep quality. So if you combine those two sources together, then we can easily claim that our device improves the sleep and health and well-being.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody who wouldn't. I think maybe the worst thing would be, I think the worst thing that would happen is people just don't like something in their ear, but I would encourage them, just like Magdalena did to me, to just get used to it. And also to show people here on the video, there are these little foamy things. I had to get my wax out of there. I can see I'm using them. So this is the foam little things that you attach. And I had originally used, I think, the medium or the small, but whatever. And then I didn't realize there was an extra small. So that's where you have to make sure you have the right size. And that's where I guess you can, play around a little bit with that, but it is really, really small. And you do, at least I got used to it. I don't know anybody else, but I think definitely Magdalena encouraged me to keep going and get used to it. But that's about the only obstacle I can see is just having to get through that barrier. And it took me, I don't know, like three, 4 times, something like that. And then you don't really notice it anymore. And that's it. So I want to open up the questions. If anybody has any questions here, you're more than welcome to ask or unmute if you'd like. I would love Magdalena to unmute and thank her very much for introducing me to Quieton. I didn't realize I needed it so much. Magdalena. Or maybe Magdalena, she's always on the run.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm so happy to meet you, because I didn't know whose face and whose voice is behind this super powerful, super helpful device. I'm also so happy to find out about it, because I had a lot of problems. Every little noise would really woke me up. And I'm living in the center of Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia. And the traffic is really awful, I think, from 4 a.m. in the morning on. And in the summertime, the birds are terrible. I think the birds even more than the cars. We love to hear the birds, but not at 4 a.m. in the morning. So I have to tell you that I'm really happy with these earbuds, because they changed my sleeping to a really wonderful experience, what was not before. Zora, do you remember when we met for the first time? I said, as a biohacker, I'm happy with my health, with everything but the sleep, because I'm sleeping maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
But now these have changed with Quieton earbuds, with spermidine and so on. So I'm really happy to find out all these devices and supplements which help us to have really qualitative sleep, because I think this is the major pillar, the most important pillar in our healthy lifestyle, or how to say, longevity approach. So thank you so much. And I would really say to everybody who has sleeping problems, and I think a lot of people do, to decide for Quieton earbuds, because this is not now advertising or publicity. It's really my experience, and I'm really happy with this product. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really nice to hear this. This is the why we are doing this, and really brings a lot of motivation and keeps us pushing forward.
Maybe I would just tell you that a little suggestion to inform people to try, for a few days, because maybe at the beginning everybody could say, oh, it's just maybe too heavy, something in my ear, it's like disturbing. But people have to get used to it, so they need maybe few days, few nights to go on, to be persistent, and then everything will be okay. This is only maybe my advice. Like Zora said at the beginning, it was kind of disturbing for her because she was not used to it. But then after a few nights, she found out that everything is great. Maybe just this from my side. Thank you.
This is really good idea, and I will make this happen right away, that we will have like a after sales letter and how we are guiding to getting the first time use. That this is really important. A really good tip. Yeah, let's make this happen.
Like on the instructions, the quick start instructions. Give it time. Give it 3 days. Wonderful. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to share about your experience, your sleep, the Quieton before we go? Is there something we didn't cover yet?
Yeah. I think we are already a little bit like covering my personal sleep and how I'm doing, but I think that I will take my sleep really seriously and do whatever it takes, and I would also recommend that to others too. That makes everything better.
Oh, excellent. So the price, okay, these are not cheap, I have to say. They're 239 euros. I'm not sure the price. People can get these in the US?
Yes, it's USA. It's $269, and our web shop quieton.com, we are selling globally, like everywhere, and delivering also quite fast. For example, in USA, we have the own delivery center there, so we are able to do it like a 2 to 3 days there also.
Oh, good. Okay. So if we get this podcast out before Christmas, you guys can use a discount of 10% using Zora. That's Zora. Very easy to spell. And you can go to quieton.com. That's quiet, Quieton.com. It's quite easy to remember as well. It's a perfect name, Quieton. Turn on the quiet. And if you have any questions, we'll put the email for Jana in the show notes, and you can find Quieton on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook as well. I will put the links for that. But again, if you just Google Quieton, you'll find it all. But I will have the links there in the show notes. So to get your Quieton and give it a go. And I would love to hear your feedback, because this is a new thing for me. Even though you've been out since 2016, I cannot believe I have not heard about it, or at least been around it before. But I'm really glad I have, and I would love to see this go viral, like Aura, or any of these devices. People need to, when something's good there on the market, it's going. And so I hope I can share that word and make more people sleep better. But I really do take feedback seriously. I want good feedback, bad feedback, constructive feedback, whatever it is. I want you to tell me how it is, because this for me is a new thing, and I'm really excited about it because it worked. It worked for me. It worked for Magdalena. So I want to hear more. So thank you so much.
One more thing, Zora.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm walking around. I would also mention that I was surprised that the battery lasts for a week.
Yeah.
You know, even you are using these earbuds every night, and this is, let me say, could be 7-8 hours of your precious sleep, and the whole week. And I love that fact. So this is also maybe important to mention, because, you know, if something lasts only for 1 day or 2, it's not really nice. Non-stop to think about it. You have to take care about your battery. But with this earbuds, 7 nights, 7 days, I think this is great. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, good battery life. That's important. And I hope that lasts throughout the years that we have our Quieton, right? It's not going to go down.
Yeah, we have been doing research our batteries very well, that more than 1,000 cycles and still having like 80-90% of the performance there. And if you calculate that you need to charge it once per week and you can do it like 1,000 cycles, it will be like it's not an issue.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh, wonderful news. Thank you so much for adding that, Magdalena. You're absolutely right. There's you know, I hope we got everything in, because when I first got them, it was just, oh, you know, it sounds like a simple thing, and it is a simple thing, but there's always little experiences that we have that can help people have a better experience as well. So I thank you so much for creating an awesome product, and thank you so much for giving me your time. And I hope we can connect again and learn more and talk more about sleep.
Okay, thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to see you somewhere and talking more. It was really a pleasure.
How do we say goodbye in Finnish?
I would say that näkemiin.
Näkemiin?
Yes,
Näkemiin.
It's just sort of like we will see it again.
Näkemiin, Jana.